Hey, fellow classmates, what's going on? This is Ryan here, and wanted to send you guys a brief video, 5 or 10 minutes long, and talk to you guys about the Neo-Babylonians. Um, as you can tell, I'm having a hard time uploading anything on our discussion post. I'm not sure why I can't upload a Word document for crying out loud. So I'm not sure how to get around that. I've done all the conversions, and there should be no reason why I should not upload. So at least want to make this video for you guys. And so let's get right into it. So I'll also be reading off my PowerPoint and a couple of notes right here on my screen. Um, the difficulty with my people group, which is probably the opposite of most of your guys' people group, is there's way too much information about the Babylonians. Um, they're probably one of the most well documented people groups of the ancient world, and their time or their civilization or their ethnic group spans over 2,000 years and over like 4 different time periods, which are pretty well documented. And so there's a lot to learn. And so there's going to be a lot that I don't cover just because there's so much information and I want to keep this brief. Um, so here we go. The 4 periods of Babylon, um, they're called, they're categorized as Old Babylon as the first one, um, and then you go into the Middle Babylonians, and then the early Neo-Babylonians, and then you go into the Neo-Babylonians with like Nebuchadnezzar the second, which we learn more, which we are probably more familiar with um, from the Old Testament. Israel was conquered by the Babylonians, and the Book of Daniel, talks about Daniel and a couple of his friends being exiled to the land of Babylonia or Babylon, and we read about his life there, and and so um, the land. Of course, I can't really show any pictures to you guys, but they conquered a lot of land. For most of you guys, you probably learned about the Fertile Crescent of the Middle East, like Iraq, Iran, or modern day Iraq, Iran. Um, uh, that's like the Fertile Crescent, and so they had a big empire that spanned over that whole area. Um, but what's interesting about the Neo-Babylonian Empire, that age specifically, is it was really short-lived. We're talking less than 100 years, and really Nebuchadnezzar II was like the best leader that they had. And after he died, it was left over. The kingdom was passed over to his 2 sons, and eventually the Medes and the Persians conquered them. And of course, this is predicted in Daniel's prophecy. There's like that vision of the statue and the different materials of the statue, and each material of the statue represented a different nation. So you get like the Medes and the Persians, you got the Roman Empire, and so on and so forth. And so Daniel's vision came true, and Babylon's reign, power came to an abrupt end, very swiftly. It was less than a quarter of a century after Nebuchadnezzar II died that Babylon was no more. Um, and so yeah. Um, and so anyway, what else here? There's a ton of archaeology going to the early Babylonian period. There's a guy named I'm trying to pronounce it correctly, Hammurabi, and you might be familiar with the Hammurabi Law, which was around the 17th, 16th century BC, and a lot of it reflects what the Torah law looks like. And so there's a big statue of the Hammurabi Law, and so that's one of the most famous pieces of artifacts from just overall from the Babylonian nation period. And then there's also other types of artifacts. I got one here in my PowerPoint. Let me get it up here. Uh, it's called, actually, I can't even pronounce it actually, but there's a fired clay cylinder that has an inscription of Nebuchadnezzar, and it has an inscription of all the cities that he conquered. And so so we know about Nebuchadnezzar not only from what the Bible tells us, but also from ancient artifacts as well. Um, and just give you guys like a time period of their reign. And so they were around the third millennia BC, and so they came around the probably around the uh, uh, how I say it, the 23rd century BC, and expanded all the way to the 5th century BC. So pretty long. And and yeah, so that's probably the gist of it. Um, of the Babylonians. Again, there is a plethora of information, so I kind of just want to touch the highlights of it. Um, and yeah, so hope this video is good for you guys, and not too long. I got about almost at the 7 minute mark here. So um, yeah, I wish I could give you my presentation. It would just be better if you guys could just look at it and visualize it, but at least you got something from me. So um, yeah, well, I'll looks like we'll all be in touch on the discussion post, and guys, good and wish all you guys luck in on week 2 homework. So God bless and take care.